This segment is proudly brought to you by 3P, the Wealth Creators, and Home Edge Finance, our experience, giving you the edge in home and commercial lending.
Yassas, Ziggy here, and welcome to the finance segment, Money Does Grow on Trees on GRTV. On the show, we cover all things money, and we welcome your email questions. The question that's selected to be covered on the show will receive a free copy of my book, Money Does Grow on Trees. This week's question comes from Anastasia in West Footscray, Melbourne, and she writes, Ziggy, thanks for the show. I don't like insurance and I don't like insurance companies, but do I need it? This is a good question. Thanks, Anastasia. Look, this is a pretty decent topic, so I've broken this up into two parts, and of course today is part one. Insurance is known in the industry as risk management, and whilst this is a fanciful term, it's actually very accurate. One of the key aspects of financial planning is all about identifying your risks, then calculating them, quantifying them, and then managing them. The basic principle of insurance is to return the insured to the situation they were in prior to the event to the greatest practical extent. Now, before we get into some of the details around the different types of insurance, that's in part two, of course, let me take you back in time and explain how the newest form of insurance began, trauma insurance, also known as recovery. Dr. Marius Barnard is the less well-known of the two brothers who pioneered heart transplant surgery in 1967. Marius removed the deceased heart in one theatre, while Christian transplanted it into the living patient waiting in the other theatre. Together they pioneered their radical new ideas and achieved the success we're all aware of today. Dr. Barnard's ideas didn't just revolve around medicine. He was also the creator of trauma insurance. When he was interviewed about his original idea for trauma insurance, his story never changed. He saw too much grief and angst amongst his patients, caused by their physical survival, thanks to modern medicine, and coupled with their financial stress and even ruin, as they had no claim on life insurance and were still unable to earn an income or struggled to do so in the face of extreme physical disability. The financial stress of survival worked against everything he was trying to accomplish as a doctor to secure each patient's recovery. Dr. Barnard had a long-standing relationship with the insurance industry, as many specialist doctors do. He fought for this new concept, which became known as dread disease insurance, and against many odds, not least of which was the actuarial challenge of pricing a product that no statistics existed for. In the end, he won, as have all the thousands of possibly millions of people who have claimed on this type of insurance. Trauma really does happen, and it can be dramatic because when such events do occur, they have a severe emotional and financial impact on a family. Around 8 years ago, a single mother with 3 children was referred to me wanting a financial plan. She was a professional, earning a reasonable amount of money, and wanted to ensure that her and her family's future was well planned for. As part of the plan, I recommended insurances be put in place for family protection. Not less than 2 years after the insurances were set up, the client called me to say that she had a minor car accident. A car had hit her from behind, and because she suffered from whiplash, she was taken to hospital where x-rays and other tests were conducted. While she suffered no lasting effects from the accident, the test showed she had a growth in her neck, and it turned out to be thyroid cancer. She had a decent mortgage, and she was working hard to put all 3 children through private schooling, and now she was faced with this. Thankfully, she had listened to all my recommendations and had implemented the appropriate level of insurance cover for her. Now, she received a $220,000 trauma payout, and this paid out her home loan, and it let her focus on recovering from surgery, which she had to remove the tumour. Thankfully, she made a full recovery and went back to work. She is still a client today and also a very good friend. At a time like that, there are enough stresses and worries about your illness without having to worry about financial issues as well. In part 2 of this insurance segment, we'll cover the different types of insurance and how you can decide what's best for you. Well, that's the end of the segment, but before we go, here is this week's funny finance phrase. What's the best way to get in touch with your long-lost relatives? Win the lottery, of course. Remember to email your questions in, and if your question is covered on the show, I'll send you a free copy of my book, Money Does Grow on Trees. Anastasia, a copy is on its way to you this week. On behalf of GRTV, I'm Ziggy, and remember, money does grow on trees. Yassas.